All right, here we go. We're going to talk about the law of sines first. Now, all right, everybody pay attention. Remember the formula for it is that when we make the the proportion here, when we make the ratio, the sine of an angle divided by the opposite side, that's equal to the sine of a second angle divided by the opposite sine, which is equal to the sine of C over C. So it's always the angle on the opposite side. Sine of the angle on the opposite side. So for example, number 1, since this is law of sines, and you can use law of sines for 1 through 10, we have this angle and this side. We have this angle and this side. What I would suggest is, when you are trying to find, for example, side AC, you're trying to find this side. So either highlighting it or doing something like this will help you know which side you're going for. So I'm looking for side AC. I'm going to give that an X. And unfortunately, I don't know this side at all, so I can't really use that angle. So, but if I know two angles, can I find the third angle? How do you do that? No, it's not a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you add up all three angles, what do you get? 180 degrees. So I'll add these two together. 118 degrees plus 22 degrees. 0, it's 140. So I'll take 180 minus 140, and what do I get? 40 degrees. So angle C here is 40 degrees. Now, what's the side opposite 40 degrees? 24. So I can say that the sine of 40 degrees over 24 is equal to the sine of 22. What's the side opposite the 22 degrees? X. Do a quick cross product. You get 22 times the sine of 40 is equal to... Oh, wait a second. 24. I read them wrong. No Academy Award for this short film. 24 times sine of 22 and X times the sine of 40 degrees. Divide by the sine of 40. These divide out, so I'm left with X. And you're going to get 24 times the sine of 22 over the sine of 40. So we're going to put that into our calculator. And I don't have my calculator with me, but we'll get 24 times the sine of 22 divided by the sine of 40. And you get X. Since we're going to the nearest tenth, X is 13.99. So while you're working on these, it's a really good idea if we're working with this angle, point it to the opposite side, because this will be able to tell you, all right, well, I know I'm going to put sine of 44 degrees over 7. And I need AB, so I'm going to have to use the opposite angle, which is right here. And there you go. Now, really quickly, because I know we don't have a ton of time, for number 6, if we're trying to find an angle, and for 6 through 10, we're going to have to use the inverse sign at the end of it. We have this angle, and we have this side. So I can set up the sine of 88 degrees over 26 is equal to, now I want this angle right here, because it says find the measure of angle C. And what's the side opposite C? So it's going to be sine C over 21. Do your cross product again. 21 times the sine of 88 is equal to 26 times the sine of C. Divide that by 26. Divide that by 26. Now we have the sine of C is equal to 21 times the sine of 88 all over 26. Now, do I want the sine of C or do I want the measure of angle C? Yep. I'm going to take this and I'm going to say the measure of angle C is equal to the inverse sine of all of this right here. Now, every single problem, 6 through 10, is going to be set up just like this. And then you can put it in your calculator and get an answer. I'm not going to put it in the calculator, but you can put it in the calculator and get an answer for that. I want to make sure that you have an example for the law of cosines on the other side. Now, the law of cosines. You get c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times c times the cosine of angle C. So when you're dealing with the law of cosines, we're going to be looking for this side. In this case, it says find side AB. And with one of the angles here, you have an opposite side. So we'll say that guy's X. Now, the opposite side is going to be the c squared. So you can kind of think of, if this is the Pythagorean theorem, or at least something that looks like the Pythagorean theorem, the c squared is always the side that's opposite the right angle. So the angle that we're using in the law of cosines, the opposite side is going to be our c squared again. So even though this isn't a right angle, it kind of plays the part of the right angle, even though it's a different value. So in this case, I'm going to get x squared from here. That's going to be equal to, so this guy's my A, and this guy's my B, or you can switch them around. You'll get 13 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 13 times 29 times the cosine of 41 degrees. And now, to figure this out, you can either do two things. You can either plug it into the calculator and take the square root, or you could just say x is going to be equal to, and this is going to be helpful if you just have a calculator and you can type it in once. You'll get your 13 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 13 times 29 times the cosine of 41 degrees. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have my calculator with me, but let's see if I can figure something out of here. Alright. I need 13 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 13 times 29 times cosine of 41 degrees. I got 20.9988, so if I want to go to the nearest tenth, it's going to round up to 21.0. And the other one that you're going to have to deal with, 1 through 6 are just like that, but number 7, you want to find the measure of angle A. You're going to have to use an inverse cosine. And with the inverse cosine, you'll set up 14 squared is equal to 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 9 times 6 times the cosine of A. Now, at this point, once you set up the law of cosines, first you're going to solve for the cosine of A, and then 2, you're going to use the inverse cosine to solve for A itself. And I'll probably have a video for that one up pretty soon.